All right, welcome to my series on how to become a fully nourished woman, where I will be teaching you how to intuitively cook and bake so that you can find joy and freedom again in the kitchen and with food. So if you are new here, I'm Kelsey. I'm a Christ-centered integrative health practitioner, and I help women reconnect with their bodies again, with themselves, and overcome chronic health symptoms with peace, confidence, and conviction. And so I'm super excited. I'm going to show you exactly how we do that through food today. So super exciting. I'm going to try for the first time how to make a peach cake because it's peach season. Summer is here. I have never made this before, so I'm gonna just sort of walk you through how I do this. Again, we're learning how to create and use food intuitively. So that's what I'm going to show you live. So I sort of got a rough draft of a recipe, but what I love to do, especially when it comes to baking, I know when it comes to baking, measurements and precision is more important, but I just, with the time that I have, just my experience with baking, I love just going with the flow. Same thing when I'm cooking. I love to just make things from the heart space. And so I love to experiment, change up the ingredients and the amounts. So I know that's like so counter. If you're a baker, just bear with me, okay? I promise things always turn out good. They always taste good. Maybe, consistency wise, we can improve there, but I truly believe that that's where you actually learn how to become better in the kitchen and learn your preferences, what you like, what you don't like, when you change up ingredients according to what you like and prefer. For example, I don't love super, super sweet desserts. I love dessert, but I don't like it when it's super sweet. So I usually like to just change up people's recipes if I do follow a recipe. But usually I'm just going with the flow, letting the Holy Spirit lead me in the kitchen. And I highly recommend that you do that too. So I use a scale. You can find these off of Amazon. They're super cheap. And I don't usually measure my food unless I'm doing some sort of baking. So I'm just gonna start out with this big glass bowl. Okay. And then what I'm gonna start with is the butter and the sugar. Okay, this is 93 grams. I think that's like a little bit short, but we're just gonna roll with it. If we need to add a little bit more fat or oil, then I'll just go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm just gonna beat the butter for a couple of seconds and then I'm gonna add the sugar. Okay, so I just finished beating the butter and now I'm gonna add a little bit of sugar and then I'm gonna beat that again. As I mentioned, I prefer less sweet. So here it says about 250 grams of sugar. I'm probably gonna maybe do half or a little bit more than that. So we'll see where we end up. Okay. So this is how I usually do it in the kitchen. I just sort of go with the flow and see, just eyeball things to see how much I actually want. Okay, I'm gonna keep it going. So I might do like half the amount of that. Getting there, going for 100 grams. Might do a little bit more. All right, that's about half. Okay, a little bit more, because I know it'll taste really good with the peaches. Okay, that's good. All right, so now I'm going to beat this again, and I'll come back in a second. Okay, so I'm gonna add the eggs in one at a time. Okay, I'm going for 4. Right. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a little bit of milk and a little bit of yogurt just to give it a nice fluffy consistency. And then I'm gonna add the dry ingredients. Oh, and vanilla. We can't forget about vanilla. So I'm just gonna do maybe like a couple tablespoons of yogurt, and this is whole fat yogurt. Okay, that's a good amount. I love this yogurt so much. Okay, I'm gonna give a splash of milk. Drink anything really. I'm just gonna do what feels right. And okay, so I'm gonna add about 150 grams of flour, and then I'm going to add some baking soda. You can also use baking powder. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and get that mixed up. Okay, so I am now peeling some peaches, and then I'm gonna add some slices into the batter, and then I'm gonna bake it, and I'm gonna make them small, thin wedges, just like that. And I'm gonna fold it together in the batter. So I'm just gonna get that mixed in all together. Oh, look at how delicious that looks. And then I'm going to add it to my baking dish. I did add a sheet of baking paper on the bottom with some coconut oil on the sides just to prevent it from sticking. And I'm gonna bake it in the oven for about 45 minutes or so. So you can see that you can definitely bake intuitively, you can experiment with your baking, and everything is going to turn out fine. It's gonna be delicious. So I hope this inspires you to just get into the kitchen and find creative ways to nourish yourself. If you want to learn more about intuitive nourishment and healing, don't forget to follow and subscribe.